Hi, everyone. My name's Tim Carlisle, and my presentation today is on leveraging Toastmasters at work. And the unspoken title, which you see down below, is and get your DTM or Distinguished Toastmaster Award in the process. This is me. I'm a Distinguished Toastmaster a couple of times, and I'm also a past district director. My LinkedIn address, my email, and my blog are all available if you would like to take a look at them. This is my quote for the life, pretty much. Through suffering emerge the strongest souls. The massive characters are seared by scars. Now, they're seared by scars not because they've done anything wrong necessarily, but it's that ability to go through anything and be resilient, in my view, that's really helpful. This was written over 100 years ago, and Mr. Khalil Gibran, a Lebanese poet who lived most of his life in the United States, has gone, but his words ring very true to me. My agenda for this meeting is why to apply, how to apply, and what to apply. I intend for this to be a little interactive, so I am going to ask questions, and hopefully you can answer. First point is why to apply, and I'd like to hear from Ula this answer. Why do you want to be a better speaker?
Well, I think foremost, it will engage me in conversations with others who are good speakers as well, in a more profound way. I can also think of the fact that it will boost my self-confidence. And then back to the first point, I think it just makes for more interesting conversations.
Wonderful. Thank you. And I'm going to ask the second question to Aloe. Why should you want to be a better leader?
Why why do I want to be a better leader? Why should anyone want to be a better leader? I think it comes down to expression of ideas. We've been in positions so many times where we think we can do better. We think that whoever's in charge is headed in the wrong direction, is making the wrong decisions, and by putting ourselves into that leadership position, perhaps we can use our own skills to effect a better outcome.
Thank you. Christina, why should you want to be a better leader?
I enjoy the impact that I have on the people around me. And if I can be a better leader, then I can impact those people in a greater way, and they'll impact the people around them in a greater way. And so it really creates, excuse me, a ripple effect into the world. And I just I just like to be that person.
Thank you. All of those reasons are valid. Everybody said something that I thought was outstanding. Now, I've told you this is the why, and when you always come back to the why you want to do it, once you understand why, as a Dr. Benjamin Hardy says, you can put up with almost any how. And we're going to talk about how to apply. So, when you're looking at the first level of whatever path that you've chosen, if you want to be a better speaker, I would recommend presentation mastery because that's totally on bettering your speaking ability. All the rest of the paths have some leadership involved too. So your icebreaker speech, well, at work, is that necessarily something that you're going to be able to use at work? Well, you might. If you have a short intro, hey, my name's Tim, I'm the new manager for this group. Here's my experience. I'm looking forward to working with all of you. Fine. And that could be like an icebreaker, only probably a little shorter if you're doing it at work. Evaluation and feedback is where you give a speech, you get feedback from the club, you get give it again, incorporate the feedback, and then you get some more feedback from the club, as well as you practice evaluating someone else's speech. Well, if you are in the workplace, consider this. Do it on an area of work that you know is probably important to work, but people don't seem to know a lot about. You give it at the club, get feedback, incorporate it, give it again, get some more feedback, incorporate it, and you send it on to your manager and say, hey, I put this together. I'd really like your feedback, and feel free to use any and all of it. What does that do if you're a manager? They're like, this person's on the ball. I didn't ask them to do it, but they provided it anyway. That is a game changer, and that puts you on the radar. Hey, that's really awesome. Now, that again is one way of looking at things. A speech with a purpose. This is a great practice to just get to the bottom line. I want to give you an alternate view of the Olympics, and this is why, and this is the outcomes of that, whatever the case may be. Vocal variety and body language are great, and you need these skills not only in person, but you need to have the ability to use those skills when you're on Zoom or Teams or whatever platform. Everybody wants to know about those things. Practicing in both cases is awesome. Finally, you have table topics. We call it table topics. The reality is it's you're practicing asking questions you don't know the answers to necessarily. Most people in Toastmasters are pretty on the ball with whatever they do, but when they're comfortable in their own skin, they can either answer or say, I don't know, but I'll get back with you in 24 hours, and there's no shame in doing either one. How do we apply this? Well, again, I've already just kind of explained that application process with all of these speeches and table topics of how that works for all of us. How do we apply Toastmasters at work when we go past that initial level, which is all like building blocks? We're building our skills a little bit at a time until we get to aim for excellence. But Vince Lombardi said, if you aim for perfection, you'll likely hit excellence. I like that. So when you talk about level 2 of any path we have, it's really about yourself. Most of the time, it's how you are as a leader, how you are as a communication style. And then we talk about mentoring, being mentored by someone else, as I was talking with Ula briefly. Now, levels 3 is where it gets real fun because there's one required speech. And it can be on anything you want, but there's one required one. And then there's a huge list of electives. I mean, I'll bet you could give a speech on connecting with your audience or connecting through storytelling or many, many other things, because all of that is stuff you can fit almost anything into. As you go up in these levels, the speeches are progressively harder, but you learn more. When you get to level 4, you have one required speech, one elective speech. These are really great in many respects. And then level 5 is the same, but you're really demonstrating expertise by the time you get to level 5. We have something called a Distinguished Toastmaster project. that's really set up for you to build a team and show your leadership skills, in many cases outside of Toastmasters. So you might be something you're advocating for, it might be something that you think would be very helpful to you. I especially like in level 5, where you have the ability to do a high performance leadership project, although it's not necessarily required. It's something where you actually measure your effectiveness with a team. And most of these level 5 projects involve 360-degree evaluations from the people on your team, which I find personally very valuable. When we talk about leadership in Toastmasters, which we did a little bit earlier, you have things like being a club officer, that's leading a local chapter. You might have 10 people, you might have 40 people. There are separate different positions. So this is like a boots on the ground type position. As something called an area director, you're a mentor for 4 to 5 groups of leaders. If you're a club mentor, what that is, which is what Christina and I are doing, is we work with a brand new Toastmasters club as experts in the Toastmasters system, and we advise them and help them develop their own club culture organically. Finally, a club coach is basically spending 1 to 2 years with a club that's struggling, and we help them be successful as well. When you look at how that really works in the workplace, a club officer is like being either a team leader or a support to the leader. An area director is like a second level manager. Remember, you're mentoring maybe several managers below you or teams of leaders. And then as a mentor, it's like helping a colleague, manager, or employee in a kind way. Maybe you're helping them improve their skills. And a club coach is very similar to working with either a struggling colleague or employee, helping them to level up what's being asked for them to do. Every one of those skills is valuable in Toastmasters and in life. Now, one thing I would not recommend is if someone cooks dinner for you, do not give them a 2 to 3 minute evaluation of it. You will likely be in deep, dark trouble. And my third point is what to apply. This quote has always resonated with me. A mentor is someone who knows the way, goes the way, and they show that way to other people. By John Maxwell. Nothing could be more accurate, in my opinion. We told you that you would wind up getting close to your Distinguished Toastmaster Award if you do all these things. I'm going to explain how that works. So you must complete 2 unique learning paths. This is about 15 to 18 speeches per pass, so it's roughly 30 to 36 speeches, depending on what choices you have. You need to spend 1 year as a club officer, 1 year as a district leader. Now, the district leader would be like being an area director or maybe an admin manager, finance manager. They always have to find people to do that every year. And, you know, it's just simply something you do to volunteer and learn. That would incorporate the 1 year of district leadership. Now, this next section, number 4, is you have to be one of these 3 things. So being a club sponsor is where you work with that club to help them go through the chartering process. And if you're smart, you'll find someone like the sponsor chair, which is Jennifer Perry Ruzick, and they will help shepherd you through that program. Youth leadership is where you work with younger children and teach them some basic speaking skills, and you purchase that from the Toastmasters International, I believe it has to have the backing of a Toastmasters club. And Speechcraft is a program for adults where it's somewhere usually around 8 weeks long, and you help adults learn the basics of speaking, basically the same as most of the level 1 portions. A club mentor works with a brand new club and helps them succeed. A club coach works with a struggling club. And club coaching is difficult, but it's very, very rewarding in my experience. But you have to, you have to be around for a bit to get to that point. Finally, have the Distinguished Toastmaster Project, and that is doing good to help an organization. What I've explained to you so far is why you should apply yourself, how to apply yourself, and what to apply. This is Tim's big concept of all of this. If you receive pushback from your efforts, your purpose is even greater than you thought. You think I'm kidding? You're not. I had no expectation of becoming anything when I joined Toastmasters, yet the program was something I engaged in, and now I just weave it all into my life. And it's been a tremendous positive experience, in my opinion. This is where I'd like to be. This is when I can jump all the way across the road, although the hair color is different, and I think the hair is more than I have. Thank you all for listening. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them for a few minutes. I also have a LinkedIn profile, and my email is available to anyone who's interested. Appreciate your time and efforts. And that is all I have. And I am going to stop recording at this point. Thank you.